ever since we finished our renovation, my girlfriend has been bothering me to put a frame around our Samsung TV. I finally have a chance to get it done, so I'm going to show you guys how to do it too. Now, I wouldn't say this is a beginner-friendly DIY, but it's definitely accessible to anybody with a little bit of knowledge and tools. In terms of material, I recommend using a hardwood. I'm using a rough piece of white oak that I had hanging around the shop. But if you head over to your local hardwood dealer, you'll be able to pick up some S4S material, which is already milled up and ready to go for you. All you'll have to do is cut your material into pieces. The best material you can get for this project is straight grain, which is indicated by the diagonal marks at the end grain of the board. This is the profile I'm going for. Your TV might be different, so make sure you're double checking your measurements, but essentially we're making 1x1 square rippings that will eventually have a corner cut out of it. After we rip our stock down to size, we're going to use some setup blocks to make sure we have the correct height. I find this to be the most accurate way to get rippings on my table saw, but do whatever way makes you comfortable. Out of the entire process, this is the hardest part, so once you get through it, it's smooth sailing. We're not going through the top of the board here, we're just trying to cut that L-shaped profile out. We're doing the long part first, then we can adjust our fence and slowly creep up to the height that we want to get that excess off the middle. Eventually we'll get close enough to the point where you just pull out the excess and clean it up with a chisel. Make sure to do a good job of cleaning up the inside corner of this profile. If you don't, it's going to prevent it from sitting nice and flat against the frame of the TV, and it's going to cause problems in the future. Now comes the fun part where we get to play with magnets. Samsung attaches the frame to the TV by the use of magnets. And to make it more confusing, the polarity of the magnets is completely random, or at least it feels that way. The magnets that I'm using are not marked, so I'll be using a Sharpie to dictate which side goes in and which side goes out. Then I can make my way around the TV and check which side the magnet is facing, whether it is facing into the TV or out towards the edge of the TV. I can also take the time here to mark down their location. These are the measurements I got, but take them with a grain of salt because your TV may be different. We need to fit the edge profile to the TV itself. So we're going to start by cutting a 45-degree angle on each one of the pieces. We can then head back over to the house and fit the profile to the actual TV itself. We're going to line it up perfectly on one side with that 45 we just cut. Then we can head back over to the other side and use our pencil to mark the exact location of the other corner. Just simply repeat the process with the rest of the pieces. While we're in the house, we're going to mark out this little sensor on the bottom. All you have to do is just line it up with the corner and 2 little quick marks. You'll be all set. This doesn't really get seen, it's facing the back of the TV, so don't worry too much about it. We'll take care of it later. Pro tip here, if you want to get a nice accurate cut, cut off the bulk of your material, and then you can sneak up to that line that we marked earlier. These pieces now need these magnets inserted. So as you can see, I already have the Sharpie on the one top, and I can orientate my magnets in the correct position. I'm going to be using Forstner bits to cut out the holes for the magnets. They tend to leave a flat bottom, unlike a paddle bit would. You want it to be a little loose, so you have a little bit of play. Now, accuracy is key here. Make sure you're referencing your marks when you're marking out the location of the actual magnets themselves. This is one of those measure twice, cut once situations. It's going to save you a lot of time in the future. I'm going to be using a drill press to drill all my holes, but it's not necessary. You guys can use a regular Forstner bit and a hand drill. Just make sure you don't blow through the backside, because then you'll just have to restart the process over again. The goal here is to get the magnet perfectly flat with the top of the board. That way they make a nice connection to the TV. Use a Sharpie to indicate which direction you want the magnet to face. I have an O here, which means the Sharpie needs to be facing outside. So it would be going towards the frame, not the TV. I take each magnet and place it in the correct orientation on the table in front of where I have the hole drilled. I can then take a little bit of CA glue, put it in the hole. I'm using way too much here, by the way. Pick up the magnet and drop it right into its place, guaranteeing it's in the correct direction. Once the magnets are all finished up, we just have to take care of this little cutout here. There's a couple different ways you can do it. You can do it with a jigsaw, you can do it with a miter saw. I have hand tools available, so that's what I prefer to use. With that being said, I will have links to all of the products and tools I use in this video down below in the description. I do make a small commission on them if you purchase through my link, and that is greatly appreciated. It helps keep the channel running. I'll give you guys a quick pro tip here. When scribing for that last cut, you don't want to just go at it with a chisel. Take a sharp knife and very lightly score your line. You could then come back with heavier and heavier passes. This will ensure you don't go past your line. Your chisel then just sits in that last groove, and it's very easy to clean up the rest of the mess. A little sanding, which nobody actually wants to watch you do, and we're ready for finish. To match everything else in the room, we're going with Rubio Monocoat's White 5%. It just gets rid of a lot of the gold color that you do get naturally in white oak. Even though it's not red oak, it does have a darker hue to it sometimes. And this kind of neutralizes that and gives it a much fresher look, in my opinion. And once that finish is all dried up, you're ready to snap your pieces in place. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's a little different from what I normally do. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.